Okay, people. This is a test. This is a YouTube live stream. 14 seconds into it. And I've done a stream. It was flashing all over the place. I don't know if you're supposed to move when you do this stuff. I'm looking at myself. I should be looking at the camera. But we're just testing it out. So anyway, I'm called this one Food for Support. Really is for Amari. Because I'm going to have to, seriously, people, I'm going to have to get him on a diet. Something that's more monitored in terms of, so he doesn't get all bunked up with constipation, right? Because he doesn't move very much. And I guess that's, people that have that problem end up getting constipated. So it's not unusual for a child to suffer with cerebral palsy or symptoms of cerebral palsy, which is just a symptom of something else, and get constipated. So I'm not the only, right? And I requested to see a specialist, not a specialist, but what are they called? I'm tired. I've been doing other things today, clearing out Uncle John's room, right? Slowly but surely. A dietitian. But because he was in his, what is it called? Weight range for his age. It was more like they just gave me some photocopies of the food groups that I'm supposed to feed him every day. But not realizing that, well, whether they realize it or not, I don't know. It just bunks up in him, people, and it's a terrible situation, right? So I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh, I got a thumbs up. Thank you. And 2 people watching. So we're just going to keep this quick, right? Because it's really hard for me to think fast, get the point across, unless, of course, somebody wants to start chatting with me. I'm just learning how to do this. I wasn't even too sure. I wasn't even too sure if I could even go live, right? It said I needed an encoder, but it turns out I don't, right? So I probably have to take some notes so I can do this again more fluently. So in the meantime, okay. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to start what I'm doing here, people, is this is pears, you can see, that I canned in 2015. I mashed them up. They're very good. And I took some frozen blueberries and I'm mashing them now. That's what I'm doing, right? Into the pears. And this is what I'm going to give Amari. Now, obviously, you can't give him fruit all day long every day because he's not going to get all the other nutrients that he needs. And if you give him too much starch, obviously it becomes a problem. So anyway, I'm just thinking, well, I know I'm not the only one out there, right? So, I kind of want to start maybe a little support group. Here's the thing, though. I have 1,495 videos connected to this channel. And I talk from everything under the sun. I talk from homeless people to the housing crises to medical kidnappings to just the whole 9 yards, right? And I give people sneak peeks of, what my family life has been over the years, just to show people that I'm a real person with real problems like everybody else out there, right? Now, I have to make a decision in how I can continue doing what I'm doing, try and get that information out there, right? In a way that at some point it can be logged. Oh, I'm tired. At some point where it can be, okay, I've got 1,495 videos and I do another 200 videos or live streams or whatever it is connected around food for support for, children with disabilities or even adults for that matter that, could benefit for something like this. Because, ideas just come from wherever. And, if somebody wants to add their point of view or their idea into the chat, they can do that. Anything to help, with the problems that I'm facing with Amari in terms of basically constipation. because it's a big issue, people. It's difficult for him. And what I've done is I've asked Tisha to look for a little tricycle. Actually, we're going to go to Toys R Us, see if we can find one, and try and set him on a tricycle where we can, strap him in, obviously bring up the tricycle up on a platform, put his legs on there, and then kind of like help him do that at a slow pace in terms of like using his legs to exercise his gut muscles so that his body can digest his food correctly, right? Versus relying on, say, suppositories for the rest of his life. Like, that's just completely impractical, right? And just as giving fruit all the time as a staple, regular staple every day isn't good for him either, right? And you can't rely on formula now because he's too old for it. He's 14 months. So I'm in a dilemma, right? Now, I am going to be going to the doctor by the end of the week to see if I can get a request for braces for his feet, to go see a specialist for that, right? Because his feet kind of go like this, right? And I've been advised with other people that have had children in that predicament. I'm watching to see if somebody wants to chat here. Other than that, I'm just going to talk, right? So we're going to see if maybe we can make an appointment with a foot specialist, right? And talk about maybe getting him into braces. Now, somebody that has a child with braces, still quite young, 5 years old, apparently I was told, and this was just yesterday, and it's kind of like, I don't know what to think about it, people. I've never been in this situation before, where those braces should be on almost all the time, 24/7, practically, even in their sleep, until the child is 15 years old. And I'm like, what? 15 years old? It takes that long, 10 years to correct legs? You know what I mean? In the hope that they may walk. That child walks. It's just Amari. I don't know. It's hard to say. So anyway, I am going to be taking him to a foot specialist to discuss that. And I'm going to go see my family doctor, and I'm going to request to go see a dietitian, because I do not want to rely on suppositories. I don't want the experience of going to the washroom to be uncomfortable for him as an infant, as a toddler, as a small child, and a teenager, and a man. So we got to figure out a way to bring in foods somehow, some way, with exercise somehow, some way, to help with the natural process of the body eliminating the byproducts of food. So that's why I kind of named this food for support, right? I kind of want to start what is it called? A support group for parents with children with disabilities, or caregivers who are looking after the elderly and, need special foods to help them along the way, or maybe even the adult themselves might need some ideas and pointers to help themselves along the way. How I start a support group on YouTube, I don't know. I haven't quite figured that one out yet. I haven't even really figured out how to use the system yet. This is what this is. This is just a test. And as I'm going about, you can see I'm mashing up slowly but surely the blueberries, which are very high in antioxidants, right? And easy to digest, into the pear, right? And then I'm like, okay, what else can I feed him? Well, sauteed salmon and a little bit of butter might be good, because that would be probably easy to digest. But again, when a child is not moving, the way a child should be moving, it's very easy for them to become constipated. And then what I'm finding is it's all pooling down at the very bottom of the, it's just hardening at the bottom because he's not pushing it out. That's what I said to Tisha today. I don't think he's pushing it out. And then when he does have to push it out, only because it's coming out itself, it becomes really difficult. But by that time, it's been sitting there for too long, because I guess his brain or his body or something. I mean, he's only 14 months old, but still, like, I've raised 5 kids, people. I've never had this problem, right? This is a big problem. And I know I'm not alone. And that's the thing. I know I'm not alone. And if I can talk about everything else that I talk about under the sun, and go on with it, I think I can, do this as well. I'd like to do this because I think, I think the more people that wrap their head around this stuff, the better it is. And I don't mean people coming to your house and overtaking your place and, and you got to do it this way and this is the way you do. I'm talking about just life in general, just something that, you can enjoy living. I want Amari to grow up enjoying living. I don't want him to be, uncomfortable along the way. So food for support. I don't really know how to put together a support group, but at this point, I guess this is what we're trying to do here. Now, in terms of the B vitamin on the Facebook with the 10-minute, how many minutes am I into this? Oh, 10 minutes. But I have 2 viewers. Nobody's chatting yet, though. Anyway, the B vitamin book is still sitting up over there somewhere, right? And I did do a quick overview on what is it called? The Bureau's yeast, which is it has like a lot of B vitamins, right? It doesn't have B12. It has B vitamins in it. The B12, I think you can only really get it from the liver and that type of thing. I'd have to do more research on it. So, like when you're dealing with a child with special needs, again, you got to think about the various types of vitamins, like a B12 vitamin, and make sure that somewhere along the line, they're going to get that in their diet, right along with the antioxidants and all this other stuff. Whereas if you have I don't want to say normal child, but a more active child, because the child's body is working correctly, right? Then what happens is, you offer them food and then the children to eat what they want. And, usually people go for what they want in terms of what their body needs. So if you give them a bunch of oranges, a bunch of bananas, and a bunch of carrots, inside physiologically, the child will reach, well, oftentimes they'll go for the watermelon before they'll go for the carrots, right? But people tend to go for the foods that their bodies need in terms of the nutrients that they're lacking. So that's where the advantage is for children that are just, running and playing and just being children, where Amari is pretty much, you have to roll him over here, you have to set him up here, you have to, roll him again. You got to keep kind of doing it for him because he's incapable of doing it for himself. And because of that, you almost have to eat for him. You don't actually eat the food, but you have to think about, well, where is he going to get that B vitamin 12? Did he get it? And if he isn't getting it. So this is why I'm thinking to maybe try and book an appointment with a dietitian just to get it more narrowed down. And as I do that, I'd like to bring it to YouTube in a positive way. I think YouTube is better. I'm not sure. Facebook, YouTube. It will be easier for somebody or me later on down the line to take those 1,495 videos and categorize them into different sections under different pages of the nonprofit that I work on, right? You know what I mean? Whereas Facebook, you have to go down this, you have to go down and down and down and down. And yes, you have to go down through YouTube, but I just think it would probably be better to do it through YouTube. And then at some point, I can just link them onto a web page under different categories. So for now, I think I'm just going to try and do this through YouTube in terms of trying to set up a support group. I did try to put out a, scheduled event or scheduled live stream. I don't know if it showed or not. I'm not very good at this stuff, but I'll work on it. And maybe I need a different kind of encoder or something. It must have an encoder of some kind because there's 4 viewers and 2 thumbs up. So that's good. It's just a matter of trying to figure out how to give people time to know that I'm going to be online live stream so that we can get more participation either through the chat or at some point I can, invite people to chat with me, and then they sign up, right? They sign up and they have their little block there, and we can talk about these things, right? And then, other experienced grandmothers or mothers or fathers or aunts and uncles or care providers, they can give their ideas too, right? Because ultimately, it's like time goes fast and there's not much room in there for mistakes, right? We got to try and get it right now, not in 5 years from now, right? So anyway, this is mixing up pretty good. I don't know. I mean, the skin of the blueberry, I don't know even if Amari can chew that. I could have taken it through a baby bullet or something, but that's another thing. You don't necessarily want everything pureed either, right? Because he's 14 months, he likes to eat, right? So I don't know, maybe I'll take those out and do something else. So anyway, we're at 15 minutes and 47 seconds. So I'm going to end it here now. Thank you very much for watching, and I do appreciate the support, and I will try and do this again soon. I will try and put out the notification, that's what it is, that the live stream is going to happen. But when I tried to do it the first time, I couldn't get it to happen unless somebody can tell me that they've seen it, right? It was supposed to start at 3:55, right? So I don't know. 3:55, yeah, 3:55, 3:55. And anyway, all right. If somebody wants to chat, we can chat. Other than that, I'm gonna go now because I've got to feed Amari. So food for support. This is for starting to create a support group for people in general, whether they're having to feed their own children with special needs, or feed their elderly parents, or whether they're having digestive problems and they might just want to get some ideas, whether they want to boost up their immune systems. I'm probably going to keep it on YouTube, because even though everything is just kind of like one after another in terms of 1,495 videos later, at some point it's easy enough to go back into those videos, pluck them out, put them on this page, pluck them out, put them on that page, so that when it comes time to that's all after I'm gone, people. It's after I'm gone. Probably not before, but it will be after I'm gone. Somebody can take the time and go through all the videos with the permission of my children. And anyway, peace out. End the stream.